When we talk about what is going on in 2021, and we try to look a little forward for the tomorrow, maybe even next month, it's very hard to predict the future. The past is also difficult, but it's a little easier to predict. Well, I used to say in the past that winter is coming. So the Game of Thrones is off the screens, but as we see the numbers, the threat coming from all threat actors of cybersecurity or cybercrime, nation states, whatever, we see these numbers rising and keep rising. So winter is here. How bad, how cold this winter is going to be is something that yet to be discovered. But yes, we are there. We just published this morning a survey by the National Bureau of Statistics that shows that 1 out of every 5 businesses fell victim to a cyber attack. You see the numbers. It's almost 20%, 18%, but half of the high-tech industry suffered from such attacks. Almost 42% of all large businesses also. The other number is 1 out of 30 businesses, less than 4%, reported. And a big emphasis on reported because maybe there are more that just haven't reported losses in basically in money or in data or any other assets or equity stemming from cyber attacks. These are the numbers that we have now for 2020. I'm afraid that 2021 looks even worse. And I suspect that it's not different in Israel than in other countries. So ransomware is something that I think there's no one on earth today that doesn't know or familiar with this term. This is how it begins. If you have that on your laptop or screen in the morning, your day is going to be whole different from what you've planned. These are the numbers of ransomware, of the money paid, again, reportedly paid. And you see the growth. Since 2.5 years ago, it was less than $6,000. Now it's almost $200,000 average payment, and the number of payments in this case is growing up. And also, most bothering for me, for a national directorate, is the downtime. You see a 16 days average downtime of functionality, of business functionality or government functionality. This is something that really keeps us awake at night. So 2 days, hopefully, we're going to open the Olympics in Tokyo. So in the spirit of the coming Olympics, let's see what are the remedies. What are we doing or need to do even more to mitigate that? So we need to be faster. That's obvious. And faster, the INCD, the Israel National Cyber Directorate, understands that we are facing a pandemic of exploits, vulnerabilities, and abuse of those vulnerabilities more than ever before in history. You see the cumulative numbers of CVEs, of exploits, of vulnerabilities that are reported, that are published, and hopefully closed. Since 32 years ago, you see the numbers. It reached a peak that, unfortunately, I'm afraid it's not going to be the last. 180,000 new vulnerabilities this year or last year. This year, we don't have the numbers yet. These are the numbers of just last April. You see 1,400 total vulnerabilities out of 30 different vendors. And you see the most disturbing thing is the red one. Weaponized vulnerabilities. Small numbers, but each one of them means like a WannaCry attack, like a NotPetya attack, attacks that cause damage, that we have witnessed a damage coming from. So what we've done, we've came to the conclusion that we need to strengthen our abilities in the INCD to mitigate that, and we opened the PDU, the Cyber Proactive Defense Unit. We had that in some versions before. Now we enforce it, enlarge it, and strengthen it to one of the strongest pillars of the INCD. And what we do, first of all, we've signed and got certified as CNA, which means a CVE numbering authority. There's only 8 or 7 other countries that are considered as certified CNA or CVE numbering authority. And you see that It gives us a lot of benefits. For example, everyone, not just vendors, everyone can report to us, and we already, in a couple of last weeks since we have opened this, we have already receiving many new vulnerabilities and signing them as CVEs. Once a CVE, it's much easier to spread it and to vaccinate everyone, not just in Israel, but all around the world, against those CVEs. We also implement the vulnerability disclosure program. In this case, you see that we are using predictive response with 5 steps from collection, analysis, mitigation coordination, application mitigation, until disclosure. And it helps us to see the coming trends, the next tendencies of vulnerabilities, what will be next problems that we need proactively get ready before. So in the spirit of a next generation, we also implement the ACD, Active Cyber Defense hub, with tools to the public, vulnerability scanning, etc., etc. If you want more details, you can come to us. We have a lot of our staff here and get more know-how and point of contacts, how to get with us. Smarter. Well, Smarter, we have yesterday published the 2nd edition of the Cyber Defense Doctrine. It's Hebrew and English also. You can find it also on a hard copy. This is the doctrine that we first issued 4 years ago. Now it's updated with the view of the attackers. We are now focusing how the attacker, a potential attacker, whatever his motivation is, how he's going to see our entity, our organization, and then how we can build the defenses. And we're building it all the time with your help, with updates and ideas, but it's not enough. And we also opened the Yigal system. This is some screenshots from it, so you can automate the check and see how strong you are according to the doctrine, and then, of course, improve whatever needs to be improved. Also, and that's a promo for tomorrow, we have started not just with the commercial aviation program that we run already a couple of years, but also the maritime cybersecurity. And tomorrow we have a big day in the Ashdod seaport, by the way, critical infrastructure, dealing with all our friends from all around the world, dealing with how to strengthen and enforce all the shipment and all the shipping and all the ships in the maritime cyberspace. And there's a lot of work there, and Israel is also looks to this field and to make it one of its pillars of innovation, of investments, of taking it up to the benefit of all the world. Stronger. Well, just a couple of weeks ago, months ago, we had a round in Gaza. This round was a little different because we saw attempts by the Hamas to also use cyber. They have a small cyber squad, but very mean, to try to hit Israel. In this case, we managed to behead their chief, the cyber chief, terrorist, and also to take care with the cyber terrorists they had in some facilities, in one case even a few hackers. And this is something that we want to send a clear message, as was yesterday on this stage, the Minister of Defense said, attacker is an attacker is an attacker. We need to be strong and very decisive and determined to show we don't have any tolerance for any kind of cyber terrorism, whatever it is, and kinetic is also a solution for cybernetic terror. Israel is a global player. That's not a secret. We have a lot of our close friends here in the audience. And as you can see, we have now reached a number of 90 countries, more than 90 countries. By the way, not all of them I can show on this screen because of obvious reasons, but they do work operationally with us, cert to cert, 24/7. And we also signed 24 different MOUs with not just countries, but as you see, also with the many of the leading NGOs like the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, the Latin American Development Bank, etc. The last but not least, just last week, Morocco. We visited there, and with by the supervision of the ministry responsible for the national defense, we've signed the 24th MOU with Morocco, with diplomatic relations with them just since last December. So this is the speed of cyber, and fortunately we understand, and most of our colleagues around the world understand that we need to work together. Another thing that we published this week in the Cyber Week event is the Israel International Cyber Strategy. Also, we have it in hard copy. Our people can show it to you later on. The basic pillars, as you can see, is to strengthen cooperation for ICT security, all the aspects of ICT security, capacity and confidence building, which is grave importance, and preparing together to the emerging technology. AI, basically, but also the other ICT technologies, 5G, cloud, all of it, they all need a special and intensive care, cyber care, to make sure that it's by design and from the very first steps, well secured and safe to the coming years. The OECD also is a great platform that we work, and just 2 weeks ago we hosted, unfortunately virtually because of the COVID-19 restrictions, the annual OECD Cyber Conference with many of our colleagues. Some of them are here physically, and we're glad to have you here. And this is just another way to say we need all to get stronger, all to be strong together in order to push it, to push the bad guys back and shed light everywhere. In that spirit, again, good luck for the Tokyo Games, and good luck for all of you for coming over here and joining the Cyber Week. This is all about partnerships and all about people. Thank you very much.
As part of the State of Israel's vision to turn the city of Beersheba into the cyber capital of Israel and to promote its national cyber capabilities and economic resilience, the Israel National Cyber Directorate established a high-tech park in Beersheba, creating a unique ecosystem and synergy between government, academia, industry, and the Israeli Defense Force. The high-tech park hosts startups, high-tech companies, multinational corporations, and a research center of Ben Gurion University, as well as innovation cyber arenas in the fields of fintech, energy, and transportation. The Israeli Cyber Emergency Response Team, CERT-IL, is located at the heart of this ecosystem. The CERT receives and handles hundreds of reports and information about cyber attack attempts or threats from local and international partners on a daily basis. These reports are examined and processed immediately in order to create a national situation report.
We reach out to organizations with critical information on known vulnerabilities that may be found on their systems. We call on the organizations to patch the vulnerabilities, offering our expertise and technological assistance as necessary.
Centers of this type exist in 100 countries around the world. The Israeli model is considered unique due to the fact that it is comprised of 7 sub-centers dedicated to specific sectors in the economy. The information gathered by the sub-centers makes it possible to draw a broad picture of the cyber threats and attacks in Israel and to provide a specific and customized response to each sector. The Israeli CERT maintains working relationships with most of the corresponding centers in the world, shares information, and provides advice to governmental partners. An innovative and unique aspect of the CERT is the National Incident Management Center.
Actually, this is like the CDC of Israel, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the cybersphere. By serving the Israeli industry and its citizens, it can provide the first aid, make the first triage, develop national-level vaccines, and teach the attacked entities how to improve next time.
The center can be reached by dialing the emergency number 119, the world's first initiative of its kind that allows any citizen and organization to report a cyber incident and receive initial assistance. The center operates 24/7 and is staffed by analysts, alumni of IDF technology units, and university graduates, who are experts in the field of information security and cyber protection. In order to share valuable information in a quick and effective manner, the Israel National Cyber Directorate has developed a unique tool that operates at the center, CyberNet. CyberNet is a first-of-its-kind social network that allows Israeli security professionals to share information about cyber attacks in order to mitigate them and create an early warning system that prevents attacks from spreading. The Israel National Cyber Directorate works to prevent and handle significant cyber attacks. Those involved in the cyber field acknowledge and appreciate the value of international cooperation and interpersonal connection between partners.
It is not about computers. Cyber is all about people. People who perpetrate the attacks, whom we need to get into their malicious minds and to be a few steps ahead of them. People like you and me, who make mistakes and choose poor passwords or press suspicious links. And the cybersecurity community. No one can succeed alone. Not a single agency, not a single country. Only side by side, sharing and supporting each other. Together we can beat the cyber threats and prevail.
See you next time in Beersheba.
Thank you. And without further ado, I think nobody will be surprised if the first national leader in the world that has a strong cyber background will be in Israel. So I'm proud to introduce to you the Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali Bennett, please.